presented by Pickett Sports Sleeper Picks, breaking down the card in MLB. I think we're going to mix in a little World Cup soccer and talk some NFL. We're only less than 2 weeks away from the Hall of Fame game, so it is time. Football season is here. Matt McAfee, Josh, boys, what's going on?
What's good, dude? We're talking. We're all over the place today, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it's
pre-show, little Barbie discourse, which we probably won't talk about on the air, but Barbie came out for those interested. Yes.
yeah. Barbie's a good. Go ahead and go see it. I will give it a thumbs up. And but yeah, loaded sports day. Believe it or not, like doesn't seem like it, but it's sneaky. We got a lot of big things going on, so excited to talk about it.
Yeah, we do get a day baseball game finally. I mean, we finally get what we asked for, a little Friday afternoon game. It's good when the Cubs are home because the Cubs usually play during the day on Friday. So that starts in like an hour. So I did give out a play on that Justin Steele to record a win. It was the Cubs are minus 130 to win the game. Steele is plus 245 to record a win. Brian, first the books turned me on to that. You know what? That's a big discrepancy. It's plus 210 now. That's not enough, right? I'd probably play it. So hopefully you tail along and got a good number. But Josh, anything else you like? Anything else you
Sorry,
like to play here?
what's your number on that game?
I saw Cubs were minus 130, but Steele was plus
Okay.
245 to get a win.
Oh, right. That's right. I was in that chat, so I should probably remember that. Yeah. No, I think I'm all over that too. And Steele didn't look that great the timeout before, but he's facing a Cardinals lineup that does hit righties pretty well. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they should have the edge. They should have had the edge yesterday, and they lost because there's something going on with the Cardinals that kind of scares me. That's outside of like stats and numbers at this point for them. But yeah, for a bet that I would turn to, I'm going much later in the day, and I'm starting with my favorite one, which is the Angels to take the Pirates first five money line minus 140 because you're talking about Shohei versus Johan Oviedo. And as someone who's had both of them on my fantasy team, I know that Oviedo is much worse at pitching than Shohei Ohtani.
You said you like the Angels, right? You said the
Yeah,
Angels
Angels
take
first
the
five
Pirates.
minus 140.
Okay.
Yep. That's my first one. Really like that one. I mean, can tell you how much better he is if you want, or you can just look at like pretty much any number and you'll see that. I mean, Shohei has given up a few runs because
He hasn't pitched well lately. I'm going to bet it too, I think, because that's probably a
Yeah.
good bet. He has not pitched that well for a decent amount of time now.
It's fair. Yeah. He's given up runs, but he's still K'ing, dude. So if you could just maybe lower the ball a bit, make it a bit heavier when you're not throwing your fastball, that'd be awesome. Then you won't get those home runs going. So
is this money line or you're laying a half a run
I know I took the money line.
on the first five?
Yeah.
What book?
Did I look at that wrong?
Yeah, I think so. I have
have to take the
minus
0.5.
235 money line first five.
You're right. No, you're right. I actually even wrote my notes point minus half. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't care about that. I'm not worried
Okay.
about that little baby hook. And then, dude, just for an opportunity to talk about my Metropolitans, like Kodai Senga is pretty good, right? I mean, he when he doesn't walk guys, he's actually really good. So at this point, Paxton's been good too this year. I'm actually going under in the first five in that game. Under 5.5 is a good number. A lot of them are 4.5 or 5. So on Barstool specifically, I found 5.5. I think there might be a couple other books with that for the first five for Mets and the Red Sox there. So
Okay. I'll add Padres too, and probably hate myself in like 8 hours. But I mean, Padres and Tigers are just on two different levels here. So this is a reasonable price. I'm seeing minus $1.39, $1.40.
Yeah.
Keep waiting for the Padres to make one of these runs. We talk about it. Hey, they win 3 in a row, then they drop one. They just can't get it together where they put it together 7 out of 8, 11 out of 13, and just get back into this. But they're a much better team than the Tigers. So famous last words, I'll take the Padres here.
Yeah, the stupid thing there is they lose the games they should win. For Christ's sake, even yesterday, like it was their best chance in terms of their pitching matchup. I think they had the biggest sort of discrepancy between their pitcher Blake Snell going up against Chris Bassett, and Snell loses and like gives up 2 runs, and the Pods don't get it. Xander Bogaerts goes 3 for 4. Like the middle of their lineup goes like 6 for 12 or something stupid, and they like can't do anything with it.
I feel like there's a 30 for 30 on that clubhouse waiting to come out because there's no way that team with all that talent can just be that bad. It's just I have no idea what it is.
They hate each other.
Anything else on baseball before we move on to a little NFL?
No, I was looking at the Blue. Oh, did you have some, McAfee?
I got a little something. I'll jump in there with you guys.
Jump in.
I think Diamondbacks and Reds screams over.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yes, I'm going to play that too.
Yeah, I think you look at it, a couple days off from both of these teams, scoring double-digit runs. D-backs, I mean, they got the Strider. They didn't win the game, but I think they've got enough guys swinging the bat well. Reds as well. I don't love the starting pitching. I mean, Henry's, he's susceptible. The Reds got a lot of good right-handed power hitters. To me, that looks like a game that could fly over 10.5. You may get that pretty early.
Would you prefer the first 5 over to really play against the starters, or are you just going to, hey, full game, I don't mind playing the bullpen?
I mean, neither team's bullpen is spectacular, so give me the full game.
Okay.
I want a rocking chair and catch it in the first 4 or 5 innings, but
plus if it's 5-5, you automatically win. If it goes to extra innings, that helps. So yeah, maybe full game over is the better.
There's nobody really back into these bullpens that you're too worried about. So 10.5 over I think is a good look. And you mentioned your Mets and Red Sox. I heard there could be a little weather in there tonight too, which that should help you.
Okay.
I know that Ks are in play. I know Senga is a popular look. I was texting with Nick this morning. He's come off 2 really good performances against better lineups than he'll face tonight, and he's sat down a lot of hitters. So I'm sure it's popular look his K ladder tonight.
Well, now you have me thinking if there is weather, I'm going to look at this game's in Boston, right? So, I mean, I'm going to look at the weather there. And the interesting thing is both these dudes, because he's going up against Cutter Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, I thought, I guess.
No, it's Paxton tonight.
Okay, so this book has Cutter in there.
ESPN I know has Cutter too. I
guess
that's a change then.
Yeah, it was originally Paxton. So if it's Cutter Crawford, even more yes for the Mets. But the interesting thing is so Senga's at 16.5 outs and Cutter's at 15.5 outs, both pretty low, but I'd like to bet that under and their unders are actually awful odds on DraftKings. Under 15.5 for Cutter is -185, under 16.5 for Senga -135. Both really low, but there's no juice on the under, and maybe that weather is part of the reason. That's a big play on this show, right? Will we try to fade pitchers
right now
stats when we think that there's going to be a delay and they don't come back out after an inning or two, and that bet still cashes. I'm waiting for that to change till next year, these books being no, they have to go X amount of or something stupid that's going to dictate that type of play.
Another anti-better
what would they do? What do you mean they have to go a certain amount of innings?
If the game gets postponed for any reason, and when they turn it back on, it's not the same pitcher, then those bets are washed.
I don't think you can regulate a delay. Hey, if there's a rain delay, the bet's off. I
hope you're right.
I don't think they can do
that. These books get creative with ways. I mean, we see movie theaters trying to charge more based on where you sit in the theater and stuff. So never underestimate the greed of corporations, Will. Come on now.
So we got 24% chance of rain at 7 o'clock, 50% chance at 8, 63% chance at 9. So do you parlay alternate under K totals, figuring, hey, maybe the third inning the rain comes and then the game gets continued later?
It's already high for Senga. Yeah, Senga's already at 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
I might just do an alternate little parlay here and just hope for some rain. And who knows, if it doesn't rain, you could still cash your bet just based on merit, but that gives you a free chance at a nice little lotto ticket. So let me see. Bet Rivers lets you parlay these. I'm sure some other books do too here. Let's see.
Awesome. You're talking about outs or Ks, Will?
Either one. I think either one. I think the Ks, you get some alternate where you get some pluses. I'll go under 3.5 on Cutter Crawford, and I'll go under 5.5 on Senga. Parlay those. It's plus 460.
Hell yeah.
Get a little rain. Root for the skies to open up.
Let's go rain.
Yeah, it's not a bad play. I don't hate that play at all.
You just see Will at the top of the green monster with a hose. Delay the game. Yeah. Okay. Last one for me. Then I was trying to figure out how to bet the Stros and A's, but you don't bet against the A's. Only whenever you do, you don't win. That's just how that goes for some reason. But I think the Blue Jays might have a bit of an advantage over Bryce Miller and the Mariners, specifically because the Blue Jays hit fastballs well, and that's all that Bryce Miller can throw still. So that's one angle. It's a little bit closer, but the Blue Jays at the -105 on the money line, or the first 5 as well, they're at -135. So -135.
All right, guys, are you? I don't know if either one of you guys are in FanDuel states, but I had a few DMs today. There's a profit boost that FanDuel dropped. They always get, some sort of parlay boost with Pitching Ninja. It gives you a 30% boost on a 3-legger. You got anything you like for that?
I think it has to be the three-legger they suggest. I think it's
Uh,
like Bradish over, Senga over, Otani over.
Mhm.
I never go for something where you tell me what I have to take for
I
that
know,
boost.
I'm
I
sort of
never
like
do it.
that
I
too.
will
Like
not do it.
DraftKings did it the other day, like, "Hey, you could parlay these guys to all make the cut,"
No.
and they
Mhm.
juiced the number way down, and then they just boosted to even money, but it was even money in other books. So that
Yeah.
I am weary of those.
It's that's the main reason is because, there's how many times have you just manually put in a parlay that they suggest with a boost, and you get better
Right.
odds when you actually just put it in, and
Yeah.
maybe that's an innocent mistake, but either way, it's like, don't be a freaking pro about this. And then the other aspect is like, why do you want me to take those players?
Right.
I don't tell me who to take. Like, I already am now suspect of that, so
Right. Like you have liability the other way, and you're throwing these guys on here
yeah.
to just balance.
I
Yeah.
just know that
I
you never do anything for no reason. I just know that. So,
right.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, did you guys wanna move on to football if you don't have any other baseball?
No, I was just gonna finish up Matt's point. That is the pitching ninja. Like you have to take he boosts the parlay. It's a specific
Yeah.
Yeah.
parlay he gives out, and they boost it. There's probably a max on it anyway, but I think
Sure.
it's a
I think
30.
it's $50. Yeah, it's nothing
Okay.
Right.
crazy, but
No, but yeah.
But
I,
it's the same thing when Bill Simmons does it with football. I'm like,
Oh
"Nah,
God,
I'm good.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good. Thank you."
yeah. All right, Matt. We've talked some football here. We haven't gotten your thoughts, I don't think, on any football. Let me just put you on the spot here. I'll just throw some rapid fire questions at you. Josh, you can jump in after with whatever thoughts you have. Your favorite NFL bet that's currently available. It could be a game, a player prop, a team over under wins, any way you want. Any bet that's available right now. Your best bet, life on the line. What you got?
oh well, if that changes it. You kind of the stakes kept raising as your
Yes.
question kept going.
Yes.
Like, favorite bet to life on the line. Life on the line. I would take Chiefs to win the division, but and lay the juice. But
Okay.
I think there's still value there. I don't think that their win totals, 2 over the
Uh-huh.
Chargers. You could take that 1-2 exacta, or you could take 1-2 Chiefs Denver if you think that Denver, can get fixed. Those are both plus money. You can come out ahead that way if you play the exacta game. I don't think you're going to get burned by Vegas. But my favorite thing right now is kind of a longer shot. Offensive Player of the Year, Tony Pollard. I know this is
Oh,
kind of risky, but it's 35-1 out there in the marketplace. Obviously, with Zeke out of the picture, Zeke had almost 900 yards and 12 touchdowns last year. And if we can see, I'm not saying Tony Pollard is going to absorb all of those carries that Zeke got, but I'm hopeful that he takes 80% of the goal line carries that he lost to Zeke last year. But I didn't roll through the tape, but I think Zeke's 12 touchdowns, 10 of them were from 1 yard out. You know what I mean? So if
And
Pollard,
and also to add to that, I think like 6 of them were following Tony Pollard like 30-yard runs to the 1 or
right,
something.
I mean, to me, it looks great. I think that Dallas is going to have more balance. Now that what's his face, Kellen Moore is in San Diego, I think they'll be a more balanced team instead of having Dak try to throw the ball 45, 50 times. To me, Tony Pollard's in a great position. I think he could lead the league in rushing and touchdowns if all things
wow.
go. Like, yes, there's better players and potentially better spots, but I just love his role in this offense. The NFC is a weaker. We already know they're weaker. I think Dallas could really have uh, a great season. I think they could potentially pip the Eagles. Not that I would bet it, but maybe throw it in a round robin with some other stuff. But yeah, love me Tony Pollard in that spot at that value.
That's the
Nick
best
Chubb, I
number you
can
can
be
get.
talked into.
That's a convincing case. I just feel like I
Mhm.
need a little more than 35-1. I feel like
35.
that's such an
Okay,
awful radar pick.
sure.
And we talked about
Yeah,
this with
I mean
MVP.
it's definitely a long shot. There's guys that are Chase and Jefferson are too short for me. Now
Right.
it may look dumb and say, hey, these guys put up monster years, but if he has as much rushing yards and scores more touchdowns than these guys perform through the air in a pass happy league. Plus he can catch passes. I think he's a sneaky look for he might get 20 touchdowns this year. So in a 1,500 all-purpose type of season, I was on Nick Chubb last year. I thought his role was going to be huge with Deshaun working his way back.
That's who I thought you were going to go with. I
No,
was
see, and I'm the other way. Like, I love that everybody's talking about Nick Chubb and how great he is. He's the best running back on Madden and all this other stuff. As a Browns fan, I love to hear it. But I think it's Deshaun's time. Like, I think this is where the running game kind of takes a step back and we actually become a more pass-oriented offense. And Nick Chubb can run out of shotgun, which most people don't realize he can. So we're going to see less sets where, hey, he's looking at 8, 9-man fronts because we're going to spread him out. And I think his all-purpose yards will go up, especially, if we don't bring Kareem Hunt back. Yeah, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. But I don't like his number. I just don't. I don't think it's there. And I think Richardson, offensive rookie of the year. I like that look. I think the Colts don't have any expectations this season other than, Richardson, I've seen it as high as like 8-1 out there. I know DraftKings is at 6-1 now. So you got a dual threat guy that I don't care. I don't think he can look bad enough for them to take him out. Like, it's going to be just go on, kid. Do everything you can. Have a lot of fun. Play action with Jonathan Taylor. I'm excited to see what the Colts can put together. They're going to be a fun team to try to find props for because I think the market will have them pretty underrated because they will lose a lot of games.
It's a quarterback award, so I'm sure it'll be between like I thought Johnson on the TCU receiver for the Chargers maybe is worth a shot. Thought Gibbs in that offense, but it's hard. It's going to be hard to unseat with 3 rookie quarterbacks, and they're probably all going to start from day one. I think it's at least what it sounds like. It's probably going to be hard for a non-quarterback to get it. What price did you say Richardson was?
You can get it up to 8-1 out there.
Not terrible.
I like it. I like it at 8-1. I don't hate it at 6 or 7-1 either. Obviously, it's not a huge jump, but I would just fade Robinson. To me, it's a crowded backfield there in Atlanta. Yeah. Like you said, it's quarterback award. We're going to have 3, quarterbacks at it. This potentially could be an outstanding quarterback draft if it all plays out how these teams are hoping for. That they got franchise guys, but
usually doesn't. There's usually one bust in the mix, one okay guy, and one guy who's good. It's usually
I think Richardson might, he might have a Cam Newton trajectory where he has 1 or 2 years where you're just like, holy shit, but then eventually the league kind of figures him out. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about that a lot. I just think he's in a spot where it's going to be conducive to winning. He's in a bad division with, he's playing against CJ Stroud. So if they can somehow win some of those games, like those head-to-heads might help. I don't think he'll have as good as numbers as Bryce Young, but I just think he'll have more splash plays and rushing touchdowns, things like that'll get casual people really invested when they see his highlights on SportsCenter and stuff like that.
Who is the most overrated team in your mind right now?
Overrated team right now, probably the Bengals. And it's tough because I do respect Burrow and Chase and what they've got there, but I think their defense is still a little suspect. Their offensive line is still a little suspect. And honestly, I'm not even sure they if things don't go perfectly right, they will miss the playoffs this year. I think they're a team because if the Browns can play to their potential and the Ravens have a bounce back year, you might look at the Bengals being that team that's on the outside looking in. And I know that's kind of crazy, but I kind of put them on par with like the Dolphins. Like at their best, yeah, they could play with anybody, probably, beat some of the elite teams. But I would say Cincinnati just, without a ton of preparation for the question, I do think that Cincinnati would be my first answer.
Would plus 240 to miss the playoffs? That's just the first number I found. Is that enough for you? I feel like I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but maybe I think, wow, the Bengals going to miss the playoffs. I think you're going to get, 3-1, 4-1, 5. I don't know, plus 240. I don't know.
It's not enough. I think I would go AFC stuff, or AFC North divisions, and go like, hey, Baltimore first, Cleveland second, or vice versa, something like that. And I think you could probably get a better number. To me, the Chargers are a playoff team. And I think the Jets are and the Bills are a playoff team. Uh, there's going to be that one spot. It'll be between the Dolphins and whoever the third place team in the North is, and potentially Denver. So, like, are we in a world where the Bengals go 9-7 and miss? I think that's possible, or 9-8. Excuse me. Now, still, even a year in, I still do 16 games like in my head, but I don't know. But then they could also, their ceiling is a Super Bowl appearance, so it's tough. But I think with the AFC being so loaded, their variance, there's more room for variance, I would say.
Yeah, I can see that. Anything to add, Josh? I know we've talked about this a little bit. Who do you have as overrated?
Yeah, for overrated, in case you're going to ask me, man, I'm scared to pick on the Cowboys after we were talking about them, but I'm kind of hoping that they are. To be honest, I think the thing that you think about for them is I think Tony Pollard might need 2 running backs, and I was kind of thinking about that while you were talking. I wonder if Ronald Jones is there to take some of those carries around the goal line as well. So that would be one worry, but somebody from the AFC East or NFC East is really where I would be.
Wait. So you think they're overrated because of why do you think they're overrated?
Because I think that they do need Zeke more than they think they do.
Oh, okay.
And then Dak to like either underperform and get hurt again is always on the table.
Yeah.
And I think between all these NFC and AFC East teams that are going to beat the crap out of each other and have the hardest schedules, like that's the team that it has the highest sort of expectations that I think could fall the furthest. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Who would you pick in the AFC
to come out of it?
No, just like you mentioned that somebody in the AFC you think is overrated. Did you have a team in mind or no?
No, not necessarily. I'm definitely fading the Pats this year. I'm going under on their win total. Really like that. 7.5.
Patriots are tough, man. Like everybody's going this direction. Patriots are going that direction. And like contrarian can be good sometimes. Like, but I don't know. Like they'll be in a bunch of 1-score games and
we should be good on defense.
Right. Yeah.
I do think O'Brien will be a big help. That was a disaster last year with the offense.
Oh my
I do think O'Brien will help.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a defensive coordinator and make him an offensive coordinator.
Insane.
But my thing with Mac Jones is like he needs people around him. He's like Eli Manning. You know what I mean? He's not better than the sum of his parts. He needs the parts to be really good. And I just don't think he has it with Parker and Schuster at this point. Like Devontae Parker wasn't a good signing again, in my opinion.
I will say, as somebody, this team was very good to me last year. I bet them to make the playoffs at long numbers before the season, during the season. So I watched them a lot. They were very good to me. And I still think they're going to win the division maybe by 2 or 3 games. But to me, the Jags are overrated. To me, the Jags won the division by default last year. They needed Tennessee, all their whole team to get hurt. Even still, they had, who was it? Josh Dobbs, who was off the street a few weeks prior. He had the lead in Jacksonville, and they got a pick 6 or a fumble 6 for a touchdown just to win the division. To me, like Lawrence has always been overrated. He's a decent player. He's a good player. To me, they're a little.
I think last year was basically his rookie season, to be honest.
The Urban season.
He played under when you see what happened last year, and you really look at how much Urban just tanked that team, right, and just sent it to the bottom of the ocean. So I think I actually believe in Trevor Lawrence. To be honest, the fact that he got those interceptions down last year was something that I kind of like. So I think they might have the best quarterback in the division.
Oh, they obviously have the best quarterback. But remember, this is the guy that came out is like, oh, he's going to be the next Peyton Manning. He's generational. He's special. He's pretty good, but I don't see the generational. I don't see it. Remember, Mahomes is hurt. Mahomes is on one leg. They put Chad Henne in. They still couldn't win. Like, that's a winnable game last year, and he really didn't play well, and the Chargers needed to implode to win that game. I don't know. I think he's okay. Like, as a Viking fan, would I like to have Trevor Lawrence? I probably would take him just because he's young. He's probably a franchise guy. But this idea that he's generational, he's special, I'm sort of out on that. And I just think they're a little overvalued in general.
We love to toss that around, dude. We love to say that.
What's that?
Like,
every draft has got a first ballot Hall of Famer before he plays it down in there.
He was pretty hyped. He was pretty hyped though.
He got hyped too because of the title game and at Clemson and stuff like that, like being able to beat Bama, whatever. But like, for this team specifically, like I think the guys that they put on this team last year between Etienne and Christian Kirk adding to that team, like I think they're pretty nasty at this point on offense moving forward. Obviously, we need to see probably a little bit more on defense, although that is where they focused as well in the last like couple drafts. So we'll see how those players pan out. But they signed Evan Ingram again, who do what you want with that. But Zay Jones as your third, also Calvin Ridley, former gambling.
Yeah, I think that's
there.
Yeah.
So
that's a good move. But I
yeah,
think they'll be good. I think they're gonna. I
yeah.
actually think there's value minus 150, minus 160 to win the division. I don't
Do
buy
you
this
think they're
idea that
overrated?
Hopkins.
Yeah, you think they're overrated compared to the rest of the AFC? Like they're not going to make any actual noise.
I think people just people think of this team as, oh, they made the playoffs, they won a game, and I feel like people forget the circumstances of like, yeah, it took the rest of the division to just implode around it. Where
Yeah,
like I don't put them as a serious like Super Bowl contender. It's like, to me, they're 25-1 to win the Super Bowl. Like they're right there with the Chargers. I guess some of these odds are short because the Lions are 22-1.
real
Like
short, dude.
Browns are 40-1.
What you keep coming back
to,
to, Will? What you keep coming back to is like last year, the other three teams in the division had to implode.
Yeah.
Why is that not going to happen again this year?
No, I think they'll win the division.
Two
I just
rookie
think big
quarterbacks, right?
picture. I just think big picture, like, oh, this is some really good team. I don't know that it's like a really good team. I think it's
No.
a decent team, and I think they're the best of the bunch here.
Right.
Like if you put them in the AFC West or the AFC North, would I pick them to make the playoffs? I would not.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah, that's because that AFC South is so boring and doo-doo that I really don't even care to talk about it. But if you were to throw the Jags into, even like honestly, where would in the NFC West would be an interesting one between them, the Rams, and the Seahawks for second place. Like, that would be way more interesting. But
would you like? Does Tennessee at like over plus $2? Do you like that as just maybe a dark horse division pick there?
I saw they were over $4 in some spots. Over $4, you could
over $4. Yeah, you got to pull the trigger there. I think because, like you said, I mean, Tennessee, we know they're going to be good coached. We know they're going to play good defense.
Yeah.
They just got Hopkins, who can help move the chains on third down. They're going to have Henry. You know what I mean? Like
Henry's going to be 30, though. I mean, at some point, this is like.
Is this the
guy?
Hey, dude, until he dies on the field, I'm going to assume he's still Henry. You know what I mean? Like
he wasn't good last year, efficiency-wise. Though, if you look at his efficiency, he was not good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had no credible threat on the outside. Robert Woods runs 3-yard crossers. And
I don't know that they're going to have that this year. I mean, Hopkins is 30-something too, coming off a PED thing. Like,
I think with Hopkins, I think he still commands enough respect. And if Burks can take another step forward, I like the little bit of flashes that we saw from him. I'm not saying the team's perfect. Don't get me wrong, but they were. You had no threat, nobody that you worried about. I mean, Hopkins at least is something like, and I think that it should help. It should help. And
plus 350 DK.
Plus 350. There you go. I mean, to me, there's a world where they can win this and it's not just a world where Lawrence goes down, for example. Like, I think you mentioned it last year. Like, they were right there and they had dudes off the street playing quarterback and nobody was healthy left anymore on their offensive line. And like, you just and Tennessee just is. They've got the best coach in that division in Vrabel, who's just going to grind and he's going to have this team in every game.
Is that a bet you've made or will make?
I think I'm going to. I think I talked myself into it, and I think there's. It may just be something I round robin with a couple other division like long shots. Like I've heard you talk about the Panthers being a decent look in the NFC South. I think you pair those two together. Maybe your Vikings to win the North. The Lions were another thought when you said the most overrated team. I still think I think they're about appropriately rated. Nobody thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl, but like they probably are a playoff team this year. But I don't know. I mean, I think Minnesota could win that division. You look at Seattle could win this division if San Fran can't figure out the quarterback situation. I mean, Seattle could potentially win that division, and I think they're over $2 too. So maybe just have some fun. The Jets were another one I saw that are almost $3.
Yes, I agree.
There's a world where they could win that too. I mean, I think the Bills are they're taking a small step back while everybody else is taking big steps forward in that division. So,
did you know that Will's a Bears fan this season? He and Aaron Rodgers.
Will's Bears fan this year?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Down
Jets fan.
Would you
I meant Jets fan. I meant Jets fan. My bad. I was talking about the Bears on chat.
Okay.
He's a Jets fan.
Jets this year.
Yeah. I was reading Christian Arenas was giving a shit. It was actually pretty funny. He said plays for the day, more like plays in 48 days.
Yeah, football's just so.
But we gave the
fast.
baseball ones out already.
Yeah,
so
we
whatever.
gave out baseball. I like the Padres. I like
Mhm.
well, it's we over Cincy in Arizona. Matt gave
Yes,
out, and
love
then
that one.
Josh gave out some stuff too. So
Yeah,
we'll,
We'll
If you
lean
want
on that
something
on my bets.
tonight, here we go. I got something for
Well,
you
you're
guys.
tailing on my bet.
It's a couple soccer things. I'll give it. They're playing tonight. We got Leo Messi making his debut for Inter Miami.
Yeah,
And he's playing. They're playing a Mexican club, Cruz Azul,
Cruz Azul.
in this tournament that is kind of like a Champions League-esque tournament,
I'm here for this.
but for North American and Central American teams. So that's something that everybody's talked about. Does Messi start? Does he come on? Look around. Make sure you get that lineup. Beckham kind of hinted that he would be coming off the bench. I would wait if he's not starting to live bet him when he comes on, because I'm sure he's just going to be shooting nonstop. But that's something you could find at plus money on some books. The line has come down a little bit because everybody's just pouring in on it, but I still think that there is some value. Cruz Azul have started pretty poorly in the Mexican League. Last I looked at the table, they were at the bottom. So,
all right.
Now, not saying Inter Miami are any better because they're the worst MLS team too, but they haven't had Leo Messi on their team yet. So
isn't
that
there?
could be a fun.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I
No,
was just gonna
go
say,
ahead.
isn't there a nice boost somewhere for this?
DK has a 50% boost. So you can live bet Messi when he comes on, or you can bet it pregame. A fun look if you want to bet it pregame is bet him to score the last goal, assuming he comes on, with 15, 20 minutes, because he's been on vacation. He's coming in off the street, having some fun, like probably eating good, having a good time.
Yeah.
Moving. He's not fully fit, so I doubt he starts.
No, he's
I
not
think
supposed to.
Yeah, I think he comes on 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. Bet him at the last goal at plus 300 and put your boost on it. Get up to like plus 450. That could
What
be a
about
fun way to.
assist?
An assist is
Yeah,
is also a good look. There's good goal scorers on this Inter Miami team. So
yeah. Everybody we used to play with on FIFA is on this team.
All right. As we wrap here, anything on the Women's World Cup? Because I got to
yes.
balance anything.
I wanted to say Women's World Cup. We've got the U.S. women playing Vietnam tonight. Very hard to extract value in a game where the money line is minus 20,000. Obviously, U.S. is going to win. It's just a matter of how much and how hard they want to press. Their ultimate goal is to win the World Cup, not to score 20 goals tonight against Vietnam. And so I look for something closer to what Spain did when a similar kind of money line situation, a very dominant come out, put the game away, and then just sub people off, cruise the second half. I personally not going to get involved with laying 6.5 goals, 7.5 goals, 8.5 goals. I'm seeing some really crazy numbers out there. If you want to climb the ladder with U.S. women, they are capable of beating this team probably by 15 goals if they are really locked in. Wow. But what does that doesn't accomplish anything. You still get just 3 points. You still got another group game. So my way is first half. I isolate that first half. Look at trying to play Team USA first half goals. I think you can go over 2.5, and that should be pretty safe. Like, again, it's gambling. You never know. But there's a massive gap in quality here. I think 3 goals in the first half from the U.S. is the way to go.
Plus 290 for both teams to score. I mean, is that worth it? No way. Vietnam's not going to score. Okay,
they'll be lucky to have a shot on target. Honestly, like maybe it's. And I watch. I'll probably have to eat my hat because they'll score some crazy goal. But like,
any of these correct score numbers do anything for you? 3-0 plus 850.
The problem with the correct score numbers, dude, is the only time you get juice is if you take a goal for Vietnam. Like if 5-0 is plus 475, that's absurd. Absurd. Right. I've never seen that in a soccer game. So, but you get to 5-1 and it's plus 2,000. Like
7-0 plus 500. Yeah,
right.
I mean, I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? 7-0. Get the hell out of here.
A nice plus money prop that I think has a good chance to score. The U.S. to score a penalty is plus 150. I think that's a pretty strong bet. They're going to be just having this team pinned in. They're going to be very tired trying to defend and just chasing shadows the whole time. I think the U.S. more than likely than not will probably be awarded a pen. We've seen penalties getting awarded in the World Cup so far. Plus 150, that's a decent look. I think I may be on that, and I'll shop it around. This is just on DK that I found that 150.
All right. Matt McAfee, Josh, boys, appreciate it. This was a fun show. Did a little of everything. So good luck on all your plays. Thank you to Pickett. Thank you to Sleeper. Be back Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Probably record some football videos over the weekend. But until then, good luck with all your plays. See you Monday.